The sad and scary truth about your altcoins is that they're probably going to continue to bleed out. Even worse, I can almost bet that most of you have gotten your altcoin picks from crypto influencers. But that is not the way that you make money in a bull market. There are specific strategies that I teach on this channel that helped all of us make big money. We've called out coins like Research Coin, Aerodrome, Ondo, Moonwell, and so many more. This is all gained from experience in the market, but if you want to fast track that whole process, then in this video, I will show you the mistakes that you're making and how you can correct them, and give your crypto investing thesis a 180-degree change. So let's get into it. Now, before we get into it, I actually want to show you this video that I made about 11 months ago. Let me just drop this down here. I want you to see the date, July 26, 2024. We called out Research Coin. Okay, now this is going to be one of the largest coins going throughout this cycle. Research Coin is actually owned and co-founded by Brian Armstrong. Okay, on July 26, 2024, like I showed you before, we picked up Research Coin at a $14.7 million market cap. And we rolled that all the way up to a $143 million market cap late last year. Now, like most of these altcoins, they have been bleeding, so everything is not at its current all-time highs, of course. But understanding that a token that is owned by Brian Armstrong, that owns one of the largest crypto exchanges on the planet, and is in conversations with people like Donald Trump and the European Union, which gives the Research Coin a leg up that you just cannot fathom for any other token. Not to mention the potential of it being listed on Coinbase in the future, which obviously I think it will be. Now, besides Research Coin, I actually want to get you into the reasons why you shouldn't be following some of these other crypto YouTubers. One thing that I've always wondered is, how are you going to get the alpha if everyone else is talking about a particular token or following a particular YouTuber? See, for me personally, and this is no shots to these guys, okay? This is no shots. I'm just picking out two crypto influencers I think you might know more than any of the other ones. One of those people being Alex Becker and the other being Elio Trades. Now, I have this video up that I want to show you about a token that he talked about. This, to me, is the scariest part of following crypto influencers, because one of the tokens, and mind you, a lot of these tokens have done this particular thing, what this chart looks like. This is Mantra, if you didn't know. Currently sitting at a $227 million market cap. This video dropped about 6 days ago. When he originally talked about this token, it was actually on a big uptrend. It actually peaked over a $7 billion market cap. Mantra is now sitting at a $227 million market cap. All of the people that bought in to Mantra over the past year or so probably bought in around here on this massive uptick. And I pulled up the Mantra price, and you can see it's even flatlined even lower. It's actually at $200 million market cap. This is a very dangerous game that you're playing, and I'm going to explain to you why and the things that you should be doing instead of following crypto YouTubers, because most of the time when they talk about these tokens, it's at the top of the market, or it's at the top of when these tokens have already pretty much pumped. You're not getting any alpha. When you come onto my channel, one of the benefits have been that my channel is pretty small. My channel is micro compared to most of these other channels. You don't have a lot of people that get early alpha on a lot of these tokens at the moment, because not a lot of people watch my channel. So when I talk about Research Coin early, when I talk about Aerodrome at a $7 million market cap, when I talk about Moonwell, when I talk about Ondo and all these things, I've talked about so many tokens on this channel. You're getting it at the ground level because you don't have a bunch of people that are ready to go and buy a token. I want to have another quick example. Elio Trades, right? You can see him here on the bottom left-hand corner. Released a video about 2 weeks ago, okay? 68,000 views on the video. He talked about this token called Kita. Look at Kita's price point when he's talking about this token, where it's currently at. I think it was at, what is this? A 1.2 fully diluted valuation. Currently, Kita is sitting at a $300 million market cap. It shaved off about a half of that since the time he talked about this token, right? Now, I'm not accusing any of these people of dumping tokens or anything like that, right? I'm not here to bash anybody. My point is kind of here, I'm here to help you understand that you need to be careful about when you choose to buy these tokens that these influencers talk about. Most of the time nowadays, I see, because they've got burnt, a lot of their audiences also got burnt in the past, they stick to talking about coins that everyone else is talking about. So if it goes down, it's not so bad because everyone else was hyping up this token as well, which is crazy to me, because when you invest in anything, especially crypto, you want to get in when the attention is at its absolute lowest. You want to get in over here. This is where you want to get in, and you want to accumulate all of your bags before these things take off. This is why I was telling you, and this is just one example, right? When we were talking about Research Coin back then, $14 million market cap. I actually want to check out what Research Coin's price is at at the moment, because I can tell you 45 million, you'd still be up, right? Not tremendously, you'd still be up. What is that? Around like maybe a 3 to 4x or something like that. But we're not even in the midst of a bull market yet. And this chart actually looks a lot healthier than the Kita chart does, or even the Mantra chart, right? Like that looks insane. But it's also because the things backing Research Coin and the narrative behind it, another coin being owned by Brian freaking Armstrong. There's a reason why this coin is going to be a lot stronger throughout this bull market, right? Now, this is probably one of the most important conversations I can have with you guys, and it's about Ethereum, okay? I understand that there's a large possibility that a lot of these institutions will use Ethereum because it's the most battle-tested chain, and they don't mind paying the massive fees on Ethereum and things like that. But over the years, I've saw a shift in the different chains that people choose to use, and I do that by using DeFi Llama, a site that we're on right now. And you have to understand that TVL matters a lot as well, and TVL meaning a lot of the money from other chains are being bridged over to newer chains, right? Now, understanding Ethereum's been out for a long time, right? 10 years, a decade at this point. There's a reason why it has a lot of the market share. It was one of the first to the space to do what it does, right? It was originally called the internet computer. And a lot of these other legacy coins like Cardano and XRP have also been able to garner massive attention because it's just been around for longer. But you have to understand there's better tech out here now. And using something like DeFi Llama, we can clearly see here that chains like Base, even Binance, which is also more so a legacy coin at this point, but Arbitrum and Newer One, Hyperliquid, these are tokens that are taking away market share slowly. After Ethereum and Tron, but we're not even going to add Tron in here because Tron's a bit of a scammy token. Justin Sun owns like most of the supply. And you can see here, not to get sidetracked or anything, I'm going to head back to my point in a second, but the 24-hour revenue is at 35,000, while a lot of these other ones are sitting at 2 million, 600,000. Like, the numbers are all shaky. The amount of protocols being built on Tron is only at 35. Anyways, focus your attention on Base, Arbitrum, and Hyperliquid, right? Base specifically, look how many active wallet addresses there are. More than Ethereum at this point, right? When you're looking at Bridge TVL, 15 million. Other than Tron, it's the third highest as far as Bridge TVL, meaning people are moving their assets and their value over to Base slowly, right? And which is why I absolutely love Base. When you're looking at 24-hour DEX volume, is extremely high as well, third amongst all chains. And this is something that dropped, if I'm not mistaken, like a year and a half ago, I think it was official, or 2 years ago. Something like that was when Base actually officially launched, right? And a lot of these protocols start to build on Base. Taking all these things into consideration, the fact that I can still actively buy and sell a lot of these assets on Base. I don't have to use Ethereum, right? I can use Ethereum as a gas token, but I don't actually have to buy a lot of these tokens anymore on Ethereum, and I can get them on places like Arbitrum or Base or whatever. That's going to drive a lot of the volume and the revenue slowly over to these chains and away from Ethereum. And to build on my last point about institutional adoption and these large, massive funds coming into crypto, their first attempt is going to be at RWAs. You see it already. Most of the legislation coming for crypto is in stable coins at the moment. They want to be able to facilitate the US dollar globally, and stable coins is going to be one of the ways that they do that. Real world asset, real world utility. So you're also going to want to look at coins that have real world utility. Ondo, for example, and I'm using Ondo because first off, you can see all of the partners that they have, right? And this is a slow, I'm not going to sit here all day and wait for it to come back around. But this is just a few of the people that they're partnering with: BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, like Franklin Templeton, Securitize, and other DeFi applications on blockchains, right? They're bringing a lot of stocks and a lot of real-world assets on-chain, right? Including U.S. treasuries as well. And you can see companies, I want to actually show you something. And you can also see companies like, that went by so fast, but Coinbase, Apple, Netflix, Nvidia, Palantir, Tesla, all these things are on-chain. Right? They're going to be on chain. They're going to be on places like Ondo. And one thing that people really don't understand about traditional finance is that, yes, your transactions may seem instantaneous when you do withdrawals, wires, pull credit, things like that. But all of this stuff is happening in the background for 3 to 5 days until finality. When all this stuff comes onto blockchain, it's going to save a lot of money, a lot of manpower, and a lot of time, because everything is going to be simultaneous and instantaneous. all these transactions on chain, right? You're gonna be able to have that reflected on an open ledger. Now, instead of watching your crypto coins bleed, right? This is probably one of the things that's helped me make the most money come this cycle, is understanding that you don't really want legacy tokens. You want tokens that are going into their first cycle, meaning anything dropped from 2022 onward, more preferably 2023 onward, would be your best bet, because there isn't a lot of hype around it yet. It doesn't have an all-time high that it has to battle with to get back up to. It doesn't have to deal with all of the tokens that are being added to circulation over the past couple of years, diluting the value, right? And making it harder for the token to reach its prior all-time high. I want to give you some examples of some early crypto tokens, and these are all tokens that came out in like 2014, 2013, early days, right? Look at NXT. I know a lot of you have never heard of these tokens. If you go back to 2017, when it had its initial hype cycle, NXT was one of the most sought after tokens at the time. It got up to a $1.8 billion market cap, right? Which is a lot back then. It's currently sitting at a $300,000 market cap. It was never able to eclipse its prior all-time highs. I want to do another one, Namecoin. Okay, this is another big one that a lot of old timers may know. Its initial hype cycle was in 2014, right? 2013. Had a massive run up. It was able to actually match and mirror it in the next bull cycle. But for anybody who bought up here, you didn't make much money when it got back up here. You probably broke even or just barely made a slight profit. And for those of you who are thinking, oh, it might come back again, look at Namecoin at this point. It's pretty much a rug pull. Doesn't exist anymore. Flatlined. Like, this is more so what these legacy tokens are going to continue to look like. And it's not so much like the stock market where you can hold these things at this moment, right, for the next 20, 30 years. Stuff like Bitcoin, yeah, for sure. Maybe a few others may come out of there, Chainlink, so on and so forth. But we're not at that point yet where you can hold these tokens for 10, 15, 20 years. Not all of them anyways. A lot of these other tokens really suffered for that. Aurora Coin, major hype cycle in 2014. Completely flatline ever since then, right? Over $1 billion in market cap, $500,000 in market cap today. Practically zero trading volume. Now, I don't want to make it seem like I'm going to bash any of these current tokens that everybody absolutely loves. And one of those tokens is XRP. So let's talk about XRP, since everyone wants to talk about XRP, right? A lot of these people make these videos for a particular reason about XRP. And I'm going to break the seal on this information that I know you didn't have before. Because if you're a massive XRP guy, you wouldn't know this unless you really make YouTube videos. So I actually want to show you this app that you can use when you make YouTube videos if you want to find out where the attention is in the market. Look at the search volume for something like XRP, okay? Now let's go to related. Now I actually want to show you the search volume for XRP. If you look up here, right, XRP has just as much search volume as Bitcoin. And there's no other tokens that really come close. The only other ones are Solana and Cardano and Ethereum, which is why you hear a lot of people on crypto YouTube or crypto Twitter and these other social platforms talking about XRP, Solana, Cardano, and are able to build these massive communities. Is because they know that the average person bought into the PSYOP. And they know that there's going to be a lot of views there to be had because there's so many people searching for videos and content on XRP. And this is why they make these videos. It's not that they believe in XRP at all. I'm here to tell you the exact truth. I could do the exact same thing. I can make videos on XRP every single freaking day, right? And build a massive community. But it'll be built off lies and built off things that I don't believe in. XRP is absolutely, and I have to stress this, it is absolutely useless now because of RLUSD, right? RippleNet is useful. RLUSD is useful, the stable coin for Ripple, because they're going to use RippleNet and transact using RLUSD, right? But XRP, what's the use case for XRP now? A strong community? Yes, that's good for a meme coin. I guess you're going to make some money off of that. But there's no real world use case for XRP anymore. I'm so sorry to tell you. And there's a reason why these people keep pushing these videos at you and making salacious thumbnails like XRP to $1,000, XRP to $10,000. It's because of this. It's because of this. Community can drive a lot of things far past their fair value, right? But we also have to take into consideration, why are all these people making all these videos about these tokens all the time? It's for a reason. And I actually like Cardano. All of these, I think Cardano is the most warranted to make videos on because it's actually the most decentralized blockchain that we have in crypto, bar none, period. Bar none. Right? But I don't like XRP for a reason because I know there's no actual use case for it anymore. And people are just making these videos about XRP because they know they're going to get clicks and views and they know they're going to make money. That's it. When I open up the XRP chart, like if you had bought back here, you were waiting 7 years. 7 years to make some profits. And not to mention if you're just holding until this point, you're still below all-time highs. Why? Because there's way more in circulation now than there was in 2018. So it's obviously going to be harder to push the market cap and the price up of this particular token because it's constantly being diluted. And the XRP Foundation is constantly selling for their own political interest. And this is how you lose money in crypto, right? It ties this video all the way back to the original point I was making at the beginning. Stop following crypto influencers for your information, right? On this channel, the most things I do have altcoin picks. I'm not trying to act like I'm just on this high horse kind of thing. I have altcoin picks. And who knows? All of these tokens may pan out by the end of this cycle, right? But the one thing that I know about myself and my channel is that I've always made sure to tell you about these things at the absolute ground level first. Ground level. Now, obviously, this is not financial advice. I can never give you financial advice. But in my heart to heart, I know I'm going to make money in this cycle. So with that being said, coins like XRP, Cardano, Litecoin even. Look at Litecoin. Same style, right? Same type of thing. Reached an all-time high. This was its hype cycle in 2018. Barely eclipsed it in 2021. And now we're just hoping we can eclipse it again. Understanding that there's way more dilution than there was. This is why I don't like investing in tokens that had a prior cycle. Unless the utility for a token is so high and the hype for it hasn't had any hype up to this point, that's the only way you'll ever catch me investing in something that's been in a cycle before. Please subscribe to the channel. You're going to need this information come next year. I'm going to start making more videos about the updates on the market and where it's at. I'm going to make more videos about a lot of the tokens that y'all talked about in my previous comment section. So your comments are going to be posted right up on the video. You're going to get some shine, okay? And I just want to say I love y'all and thank you for watching. Click the video up on the top. This is the one I promised in the middle of the video. Go watch that. It's going to help you navigate this cycle. And remember, I'm here to be real. I don't care about making money and views and all this other stuff, right? I care about it. Don't get me wrong. I do care about it. I want people to see my content. I want to make some money. Let me be honest. I want to make some money. But the more important thing is making sure that y'all make money. Okay, so subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.